Hi, DZ Movies here. Finally today we're going to see episode 7 of season 4 of Stranger Things. Spoilers coming soon. Please be aware, the video contains spoilers. The action of today's episode opens with Steve being brought to Earth by these winged monsters from the broken world. He is almost killed, but saved in time by Nancy, Robin and Eddie who come for him. They fight the monsters to free Steve, and manage to take them down after many attempts. But they don't get to rest for a second because in the distance several hundred more winged monsters can be seen in the dark sky coming towards them, and the youngsters are forced to flee to the forest to hide. After General Sullivan tortures the captured agent for days, he finally gives in and reveals Eleven's location, but begs him not to kill her. Sam reproaches Brenner that Eleven's condition is not improving and they have no time to lose. So after the doctor has a talk with Eleven, she agrees to skip a few steps, and put an end to it once and for all. So Brenner brings in the last tape of Eleven's last memory of this place. Dustin, Lucas, and Max are caught by the cops and brought home and are now questioned by them and their parents, trying to find out Eddie's location and if they have any connection to him. As the young men lie but can't agree in all is chaos in that house full of people, the sheriff tells them all to shut up. The village is in an uproar. He then decides that he will talk to each one individually, Max being the first. Back in the afterlife, Steve is hurt by the earlier attack, so Nancy tries to bandage him up. After which they come up with the suggestion that they need weapons, but as the police headquarters was too far away from them, they head to Nancy's house, she mentioning that they will find some weapons at her place. In prison, Jim and Enzo spend their last hours talking and praying to find a way to kill the monster and then escape so they can reunite with their children. During this time Yuri, Murray and Joyce arrive at the prison, and Yuri manages to get through the first gate, convincing the guard that he has come to bring the warden a gift, namely the 2 American prisoners. In Eleven's simulation, we see the young man who attacked her being punished under everyone's eyes. While in the broken world, on the way to Nancy's house, Eddie and Steve have a small talk, in which Steve thanks him for saving him, but Eddie confesses that he is jealous of him. Dustin himself sees Steve as a hero as Eddie confesses, and the 2 girls are the reason why Eddie came after him. They were the first to jump out of the boat to his aid. Eddie also says that Nancy was the first to come after him without a second thought, and if that's not true love he doesn't know what is. Eddie telling her that whatever it was between them he should win Nancy back in his opinion. In the meantime Dustin tries to make contact with Steve and the others but to no avail. Then while Max was being questioned, Dustin and Lucas try to fill Lucas' sister in on what's going on, who doesn't understand much but has a point of view that makes Dustin think about the underwater portal and how it came about. Thus then concluding that Vecna doesn't randomly choose his victims just to kill them. With each kill he opens a portal, slowly to invade their world. In the torn world, the young people finally make it home to Nancy, but the guns are missing from where they should be. Looking around more closely Nancy notices that although they are in her house they are not in the present, all indicating that they look as they did when she was still in her early high school years. This realizing that they are in their town but in the past. Steve walking through Nancy's house somehow overhears Dustin who is in their world, in the kitchen talking to Lucas and his sister. He quickly tells the others about it, and tries to get in touch with him but to no avail he can't hear them. But they get an idea, they try to use lights like Vecna to try to communicate and they manage to transmit an SOS that Dustin receives. After Murray takes his job too seriously he makes the prison warden think Yuri is crazier than rumors characterized him. He invites Murray and his inmates to attend the show that was to take place in the yard, where Jim, Enzo and other inmates were to fight the monster in front of them. Back in Eleven's mind, she remembers how one of their guards at the time helped and warned her by revealing the truth about the attack on her and Dr. Brenner's plans. The latter being terrified of Eleven's powers, planned to kill her, he was behind the attacks. But the guard tries to help her escape from that hell by giving her an access card. Dustin comes up with a plan, and with the help of a glowing tablet manages to communicate better with those in the broken world. He asks them why they can't return through the portal they came through, but they tell him it's guarded. Dustin then tells them his theory that there may be several portals, one in each place where someone was killed, so young people plan to take their bikes to the trailers. In the meantime the cops finish talking to Max, and she goes to her friends, while one of the cops goes after them to get someone else to ask questions. They were already gone. Despite the parents and the police shouting for them to come back immediately, we see the youngsters take their bikes and pedal as far away from there as possible. Back in Eleven's simulation, we see her follow the young man's plan to escape, fool a guard that she needs a doctor, and when the guard isn't paying attention she makes herself invisible. Nearly escaping through a basement vent, she learns that she's not the only prisoner and her buddy can't make it. so she decides to stay and stop her father for good to save her friend. The big fight is about to begin. Our prisoners quickly get their hands on some spears and axes, and the monster door opens. Murray quickly points his gun at the prison boss, threatening his life and taking him hostage. The monster violently emerges from the darkness, leaps over the first inmates, attacking those behind them. He wastes no time and quickly kills most of them, while Jim struggles to light the spear, for fire was this monster's only weakness and their only hope of escape. He finally succeeds and the monster stays away from the fire and him for a few moments, killing the other prisoners. Murray threatens another soldier to open the gates to allow Jim and Enzo to escape, or he will kill the warden himself. But the soldier is not intimidated and refuses to put everyone's lives in danger at the risk of the monster escaping free through the prison. Murray's village of words springs into action and quickly knocks the warden and the other guards unconscious. Then Joyce starts and desperately pushes all the buttons. Jim's flaming spear is about to go off as Enzo tries to no avail to open the door, but Joyce hits the right button with a bit of luck and opens it, allowing them to escape, then closes it just in time for the monster not to follow them. And just to be safe, Jim sticks the spear in its head. The doors open on the other side and Jim sees Joyce hugging him, and he can't believe she's here to save him. In the torn world, Steve, Robin, Nancy and Eddie arrive at the trailer park where they find the portal. It explodes and through it on the other side there is no one standing but their friends Dustin, Max and the others. 11 helps her friend remove the chip he had implanted so he can be controlled and tracked, then the two are followed by guards and cornered. 11 is ready to surrender, but the guards are easily taken down by her boyfriend, who apparently has the same powers as her. He then shows her his arm, which says 001. Back at the trailer park, Dustin brings a mattress for the others to land on as they pass through the portal and improvises a rope for them to climb on. Robin and Eddie get through without any problems, but when Nancy follows, she is caught in a hallucination by Vecna, while the others watch. 11, tired of waiting for one to find a way out of there, leaves the room where he told her to wait for him, and on the way sees only a pile of blood and bodies left behind. Arriving in the common room, she realizes that it wasn't really her who killed them all, but one. Meanwhile, Vecna shows Nancy the truth, saying that she was so close to finding out, teleporting her back to Victor Creel's house and confessing the whole truth. How Victor's father had bought the house, and had found a spider in it that reminded her a lot of him, dangerous but not understood, how she found out he had powers and could enter people's minds. How he tested them on animals, then on his parents, and discovered they weren't as perfect as they seemed. And for some reason, his mother understood that a demon was not the reason but him. She wanted to give him to a doctor, then he had no choice but to kill her, but he was just a child and could not fully control his powers, so he fainted. After he woke up, he realized that although he had run away from the doctors, it was at that moment that he met for the first time Dr. Martin Brenner, who wanted not only to help him but to control him. And when he failed, he made others like him. As he explains to 11, she and the rest were born because of him. Then Nancy also realizes that Vecna was actually Victor Creel's son and not some monster at first. And when he proposes that 11 join him, she attacks him and refuses. The past fight between the two seemed to be one by one, as he is stronger than 11. But when he almost kills 11, 11 sees in her mind a memory of being born with her mother. In that moment she gains the strength to stop him. She throws him through a wall, and then uses all her powers to send him into the broken world. This is when one becomes Vecna. Subscribe to this channel if you want more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to turn on notification to help this channel.